Olá, estamos aqui em mais uma entrevista relâmpago na Rádio Quatro Tempos com uma banda vinda, estamos aqui no aeroporto com uma banda vinda da Rússia, de São Petersburgo, a banda Ankylym. Que é uma banda formada em 1977 e com 21 anos de existência, que toca art punk com alguma pegada étnica, aliás, desculpe, e estão pela segunda vez aqui no Brasil. Eu acho que é uma coisa interessante, porque eles têm com eles uma trajetória já de 21 anos, onde bastante parte disso, eu até vou perguntar, eles trazem os instrumentos típicos da Rússia, de São Petersburgo, que são a balalaika, que é aquela viola triangular que todo mundo vê na internet hoje em dia bem, né? E o baião. A sanfona, isso, obrigado. Hi, let me introduce. Gilmar is with us from Banda ARD, and the Ankylym band leader the name is?
Ilya.
Ilya, thanks for coming. In 2004, you turned acoustic and experimental using traditional Russian instruments, balalaika and bayan. There's another one? Instrument.
It's for ethnic, no, these two. Balalaika and bayan.
Okay. Russian instruments, more than the balalaika and bayan, right?
For sure, but we never played some kind of ethnic or folk music. We started as punk, hardcore, experimental music, and it was just getting boring to play guitars. And guys tried to do something new, and we changed one guitar for balalaika, and then the second guitar was changed for bayan, just for fun. We were not looking just to experiment with different kinds of the stuff. It was just a pure fun and experiment with the sound. And let's say it happened to be like a long-term, I would say, game with the sound. So our approach is not ethnical. We still play like maybe extreme music and vibes of hardcore, punk, metal and so on, but with light ethnic sound.
How is the scene of punk, hardcore and metal in St. Petersburg? Is it popular or not?
Well, actually, there are many bands performing such styles of music. Some of them are really underground, some of them are really shit and nobody should listen to it, I guess. And there are some major bands even playing this like metal and punk music, so they can gather like pop, commercial stuff, and they get many of people, thousands, supporting them. So we are maybe to DIY and independent music with independent venues, and there are quite huge number of bands. Some of them are more traditional in the style, some of them more experimental, number of them is less. Most of them playing just in Russia, and occasional bands touring in Europe mostly.
Did the Soviet politics and the closed period interfere in this kind of music there?
To some extent, maybe. Well, you know, one time of Soviet Union, it was quite a limited access to different music. And after 1990s, where there happened to be the era of less modern Russia, so we discovered there is the ocean of music of all kinds, and that music may be just good or bad, but so you could just listen to something new every time. And of course, and probably best that's way maybe in 1990s they tend to be many experimental bands who try to get portion of this, portion of that, and do something new. Nowadays, so there is new population grew who just know what the kind of music they like, and they play strict this kind of music. And so I would say it maybe more narrow-minded. So lots of bands were playing just old school power violence, something were playing just old school grindcore punk, just New York hardcore, and so on. Maybe it's good for development of this style, but it's not so interesting for the scene. It's overwhelming because it becomes like any other band in the world, but not bring something unique, something different. So, and probably in course of time, some bands who are still playing, they're trying to also do something new.
What does Ankylym mean?
Well, Ankylym is the self-name of one of the tribes of Eskimo people who live in the north of Russia. Originally, when the idea of the band was born, we three of the band members are from the same faculty of sociology. And we had election of ethnology. So, and they were just stories about different tribes and peoples of territory of Russia, and the idea of ethnonym, that we can just call the whole country Russians, but there are some subdivisions. So Belarusians, Russians, and some Eskimo, the people who live in the mountains, they have own self-name. And Eskimo people who just live on the very north, we call it in general like Eskimo, but there is some self-identification of some of them. They call themselves Ankylym. We just always, it sounds funny. So that can just be used as the name of the bands. But for several days how to name a band, and Ankylym sounds great. So we make a picture of this dancing Chukcha, Eskimo guy of Ankylym. So when he became the symbol of the group, so we started. And then because of the name, we decided to use some instruments what they used.
Resistance against the social system. I'd like to know your opinion and, of course, the St. Petersburg people opinion about that, considering we are for a lot of time separated culturally.
Yes, I agree that so we have some social sphere and so problems in economy and social sphere and political thing and so on. People are separated even inside the country and they have their lots of problems. And the same thing may be faced even in subcultures while being used. The main problem to my mind is that people very narrow-minded and they're not open for discussion. So the main thing is to break stereotypes in any ways. And to me, subcultures and alternative cultures became some kind of opposition or alternative way of living beyond this political and social dictatorship. That you must do this way, you must do career, earn money, support presidents, and hate enemies out of states and all others. So it's just stereotype and propaganda. Actually, we are mostly for communication and make people thinking. That so when you see anything, it's not maybe the only meaning about each thing. You can have lots of approaches. And probably it's kind of what we're going to say with our music, with our art. That in every common thing there might be different perspective. And that was also nice when we were touring the first time. There was the little concern that people in other countries won't understand. Since lyrics are in Russian, but they are not playing that's the first role, the major part. And they discovered that people understand what we are doing in a musical way, that we play over different standards, even in music styles, and they understand what's going on with this approach. So they're laughing and sometimes making fun of people. It's making this world go around. Because all the theories, it was a common saying that all the most terrible troubles happens with the most serious faces. When you show different perspective of everything and make people laugh of just not expected things that break stereotypes and the borders in mind. So you can just break the borders between the countries and break the borders between the people.
Of course, I guess you don't have the borders. You shouldn't have the borders. That's the point. The music is rock and roll. I said rock and roll and blues because it is from the beginning of the thing. But rock and roll and blues are kind of music that is made from slaves, made from people that were totally against the kind of system they have, and it stays now. I guess it's a mission for the music to do that. It is international. We don't have to have the borders to make it. You should. I guess you should see, as an astronaut, see the Earth. Is everything together? There's no lines separating, right?
Yeah, I totally agree. But in course of time, the same rock and roll and blues also became part of establishment and show business. Originally, it was something, the music of the folk and just poor people, and it was beyond the official culture. Yeah. Then, when it became popular, so people started investing money, and there happened to be like false, the new generations of rock and roll people, bluesmen, and who just play music for making money.
Sure.
Original roots. But right now we are talking that you can still play blues, rock and roll, and every kind of punk rock, everything style, just for the same breaking the borders, not to be part of style.
Yeah. How do you like Brazilian food?
So we like we're fond of zucas, natural juice. We don't have such kind in Russia, but we taste the first time. We've been in Brazil in 6 years before, and the most probably experience was from acai, and so the original juice, which is not so you buy in supermarkets, but we made original, so it's really great.
Yeah.
For sure, caipirinha is also something different from what we have here.
I think in St. Petersburg you have something. I guess a wave of natural things and organic food. Is it correct?
There are some, but we do not have so much fruits as you do here, because sometimes you cannot even understand what's this. You can just taste it's good, but you don't have any analogs in Russian.
I would ask you about the beverage, the cachaça. And you have the good and the bad, the industrialized and the good one, good stuff. Did you taste it? Do you like to drink alcohol or something like that?
We use alcohol. In some years it was also defined on Ankylym as alka folk. But I do not say right now it's still the same. It's well respected. And we tried here for sure some types of cachaça. Some of them really can be used only with part of caipirinha, but some of them like ipioca, quite nice. As for beer, so I know there are some crafts, some good styles of beer produced in Brazil, but the most so for me, I would say it's very cold. So when you're here for a long time, maybe you got accustomed, but we are not drinking beers of such temperatures. So very, very low, because in full of ice, and it's a bit difficult, and they can hardly speak.
Gilmar will take you there to the Chapada, and then you can have a nice cachaça, a nice caipirinha. Well. I'll ask Gilmar to tell us in Portuguese about the shows. Gilmar, Fala pra gente como é que vão ser os shows, só pra gente tentar publicar isso rápido para o pessoal poder saber o que está acontecendo.
Ok, os shows vão ser na quinta-feira, dia 15, lá no Conic, na parte superior ali na área das lojas, perto da Fan House e Verdurão. É um show gratuito que vai ter Ankylym, ARD e River Phoenix. Começa às 21 horas. No dia 16 vai ser na Samambaia com os Cabelo Duro, Hostil e outras bandas. E no dia 17, o último show, que é a despedida deles, vai ser no Gama, ao ar livre, lá no Bar do Rock, no Bar do Marquinho, ali no Mercadão Leste, que vai ter RD, Alarme, Distrito Subverso e o JTB. Então essa é a programação. Se vocês querem ver um som bem diferente, que os caras sabem usar muito bem balalaica e baian, nessa história do hardcore e punk rock, sejam bem-vindos, que vai ser muito legal.
Beleza, olha pessoal, vê se vem mesmo, vai ser interessante. Os instrumentos novos, diferentes, que são os instrumentos locais deles, que são a balalaica e o baião, vale a pena vocês ouvirem, vocês vão gostar. Procurem Ankylym no YouTube. Aliás, ó, vamos colocar aqui embaixo o Bandcamp, para que o pessoal possa dar uma procurada, dar uma escutada, que vale muito a pena. Thanks very much for your stay, for coming here, and thanks for your time here at the radio. Tell us, this is the band Ankylym, na Rádio Quatro Tempos. Would you say that?
Esta é a banda Ankylym na Rádio Quatro Tempos.
Great, thanks. Thanks a lot. Спасибо большое. Beleza, cara. Obrigado. Essa é a Rádio Quatro Tempos, o melhor do rock and roll para você.